Okay, so I haven't got into this before, but I wanted to talk about Doctor Who. You see, I've been a long time fan, so I thought for this video it would be best just to talk about how I got into the show and what the show means to me. Well, it all started for me when, as a very young child, my dad started watching episodes of Doctor Who with me. I think the very first Doctor I saw was old Wurzel Gummidge himself, Jon Pertwee. In fact, here's where I'm going to sidestep into a funny little anecdote. You see, I've met a few of the Doctors in my life, both of the Bakers, McCoy and Davidson to be precise, and I'm sure I'll talk about meeting them and what they were like at some stage. But my dad actually had Jon Pertwee sat in his office asking for my dad's help, which I think's pretty neat. My dad was the factory manager and chief garment dyer for a dry cleaning business, and Mr. Pertwee had gone there to ask for help in dyeing his curtains a different colour. Now, my dad tested the material and told Mr. Pertwee that the material was too old and unfit for dyeing, and that it would in fact probably just deteriorate if they tried it. But Mr. Pertwee was really keen on having them dyed, so he asked my dad what he could do to stop this happening. Now, my dad's always had a very quick wit about him, and so he suggested that, well, Doctor, you could always pop back in the TARDIS and fetch the curtains when they were a bit newer. Apparently Pertwee didn't find this funny, but it's one of the many things my dad has done which has made him an absolute legend. I remember the first regeneration I ever witnessed was Pertwee changing into Tom Baker. I was born in 1981, so if memory serves, the first Doctor I actually watched as the episodes were being transmitted would have been the very tail end of Colin Baker. So when everyone says a particular Doctor is their Doctor, the one they feel a special connection to because they grew up with them, well, for me it would probably be Sylvester McCoy, because I saw the very first moment he became the Doctor, and then every single one of his episodes right up until the very end I saw, the night it was shown. It probably helped that his companion was Ace, who I thought was amazing. She was the first companion I thought I could really relate to, because she just had this street cat look and this attitude, and she wasn't a screamer. She took a baseball bat to a Dalek after all, and for me that's one of my all-time favourite moments of Doctor Who. Doctor Who was and will always be a very important show to me, because watching it is something I've always done with my dad. And even when we've been apart, when episodes have been shown, we'll always phone each other and talk about what we thought of the episode, and about how good or bad each new Doctor and each new Master are. Sci-fi is something we both have in common, and along with Blake Seven and Star Trek, Doctor Who's one of our sort of key shows for us. I remember back when Paul McGann's TV movie was announced, and I remember being so hyped for the return of the Doctor. And to be totally honest, despite what some people say about it, I really enjoyed it. I thought McGann was a great Doctor with a lot of potential, and I'm sad that it didn't go anywhere. But still, once again, I was there waiting with bated breath to watch Rose when Doctor Who returned once again. And in all honesty, I think that Christopher Eccleston absolutely knocked it out of the park. And I've been watching every single episode of Doctor Who since. I've even read a few of the books, both old ones and recent ones. I've listened to some of the Big Finish audios. I've watched all of Torchwood and the Sarah Jane adventures. So I'd like to think, I've seen pretty much all the Doctor Who you can. Sure, there's a few lost episodes that predate me that are missing, but if you can get hold of it, I've seen it. So this is why I'd like to start making videos where I can talk about my thoughts and feelings about particular episodes or particular Doctors. Now, I'm not saying that I know better than anybody else. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. You might like some of mine, you might hate some of mine, but I just thought this would be a fun little set of videos to start doing. Now, if you've enjoyed this one, I'll hope to have another one up soon. Thank you very much. It's Kerr 9000 signing off. Keep on keeping on.